Hello, and thank you for tuning into this week's Mayor's Update. As always, we have a lot of important information to share with you, so please feel free to share this video with your friends, family, relatives, and anyone else who you think might find this information helpful over the course of the coming week. I want to start off by saying a very special thank you to everyone who volunteered last week and helped out with the Keep Gardner Beautiful nip hunt and litter cleanup. It was a very well-attended event and had a really serious impact on the landscape here in the Chair City. I want to say a huge thank you to the event organizer, Diane Neon LeBlanc, as well as everyone else who was involved. Former Director of Public Health, Lauren Saunders, who now works for the Keep Massachusetts Beautiful Organization's Board of Directors, or is a member of the board, not works for the board. Our local Assistant Director of Public Health here in Gardner City Hall, Angela DePrima. Thank you very much for your commitment. Stanley Bezeski, the transfer station superintendent, and everyone who was involved in making that event happen and put together. We also had the official ribbon cutting of Keep Gardner Beautiful's new permanent home at the Gardner transfer station. A lot of people may not realize that before this year, Diane was storing all of the litter supplies and all the litter collected in her home's basement before she then brought it to the transfer station when she had enough to fill up a carload. So now everything has its own centralized home at the transfer station. There's no need to store anything in her own house. And it's a good partnerships that we've built up here at the city. So thank you very much to Diane and her husband Don for your continued commitment to the community. It truly is great to see that many people out and involved in the community and getting things going. This past week, I want to say thank you very much to the American Cancer Society's volunteers for the Greater Gardner Relay for Life, with Sandy Long and her team on the event leadership team, who put together the annual Light the Town Purple event. This event takes place every year to kick off the last month before the Relay for Life happens in Gardner, which this year will take place on June 7th and 8th. So if you are interested in participating in the Relay for Life, I highly recommend it. I always joke that the Relay for Life in Gardner started the year that I was born, and it's continued to grow and expand and be one of the most successful relays in New England, let alone in the United States. So thank you very much to everyone who's involved in that very important ceremony of this past Monday for the Light the Town Purple final kickoff before we get to the Relay for Life itself. Some of you who have driven by Parker Street may have noticed that there's some temporary fencing around the lot that used to house the old Mackey Block building. The new Mackey Park, which we're still looking for a permanent name for, and again, we're always looking for suggestions on that, is going to be under construction very soon. Again, if you don't remember the project when it was first proposed to the City Council, there is going to be a three-tiered terraced park there. The bottom level is going to have outdoor seating. The middle level will have a couple outdoor seating areas and picnic tables, but also permanently cemented in the terrace cornhole boards. So it'll be a bring your own bags type style cornhole boards. It's basically two sidewalk panels that we've lifted up and then drilled holes in so that you'll see a permanent little recreational facility there. And then the top level is going to be an outdoor stage that has full electrical capacities with it too. So if someone wants to perform in the downtown area, you can certainly set up there anytime. I'm really excited to see how this changes that area of the city. There is going to be a little fence that goes around it too, just for security reasons, because it is at a four-way intersection. But the lot there is too small to make it a buildable lot. And it's with the parking that we need in the downtown, we didn't want to eat any more into the West Street parking lot that's there. We do have a grant application in, and I want to stress this specifically, that this is a grant application, not a grant received. So it depends on if we get it or not, to look at the feasibility of putting in a four-story parking garage above the West Street parking lot. However, this that you're seeing here is not that project. This is the three-tiered terrace project that's making the lot a little more accessible. Right now, the grade of the lot is too steep for us to be able to use for anything for city events wise under the Americans with Disability Act. So therefore, this is the only way that we can make that park a little more user-friendly and usable in that section of the downtown. While we're talking about construction, we're also going to talk about some of the roads that are being paved this year. We are currently finalizing that list. Work has begun over on Fredette Street, Wilkins Road, and Lower Parker Street to complete the project that was started last fall. Those of you who are driving by the Duguay's side of Parker Street may have seen that we went in this week and installed new granite curbing for the sidewalk along Lower Parker Street, and crews are out right now lining the areas for the sidewalks over on Fredette Street and Wilkins Road. Those will continue, and then once those projects are done, we're going to make the plan for the next streets to be paved after that. We are working on what we have the capacity to do, because we do sidewalks in-house by our DPW employees, and our contractors for paving just do the roads. So we have to weigh out what we have the capacity to do and what we can work with our contractor to do as well. So that is continuing there. Additionally, because of the amount of potholes that are around the city right now, we have assigned all DPW crews, not just the highway department, to do nothing but potholes next week. So all 4 DPW crews will be going out and filling potholes around the city next week, just to get us back up to where we need to be until the paving season fully kicks off. It's, it still dips to be a little cold lately, so we can't really go in full swing just yet, because we do have to wait for the temperatures to be at a certain amount before we continue to put the asphalt down on the street. But we're going to be doing what we can, at least to fill the potholes as best as we can. And then again, everything around the Rotary will be paved as part of the Rotary's project itself, but it doesn't make sense for us to spend $1 million paving around the Rotary just to have someone come back and dig it up and make it so that we have to pave it all again. So that's all part of the whole program that's there. If you're interested in seeing how much the city receives each year for paving funds, and how that relates to what we can actually pave and how many roads we can do, there's actually a specific section on the city's budget proposal that I sent to the city council this year that's broken out by section. If you go to the city's website, www.gardner-ma.gov, and click Mayor and then FY25 budget, you'll be able to see that it's broken down there under the revenue section. You'll see a breakout of all of our paving funds, how those equate to what it costs us to pave a mile of road, and what that means for us in the long term. On average, it costs us about $1.2 million to pave a mile of roads here in the city, but in the last 4 years, we've paved just about 25 miles of road out of the 100 that we have here too. So we're a quarter of the way of the city fully repaved, but that doesn't mean we're still catching up to where we need to be too, and we understand that. So we are looking at ways that we can, find new funding opportunities to to pave more streets in the future. One of the reasons why $150,000 that's usually in the city's budget annually for supplemental paving funds was not included in this year's budget was twofold. It's one, to balance the budget that was there, but two, we actually may have an additional funding source that we're looking into right now for paving some additional streets that way. So we'll keep you up to date on these updates. If you want to know what we're paving next, best way to do is just keep up to date with these updates and see what information we're releasing each week. We'll always try to give you at least a week in advance, if not more, before we start to send the crews out to those streets. And while we are speaking of paving and giving you at least a week in advance, the Massachusetts Department of Transportation has notified us that they do have some extra money left over in the Route 2 repaving project. So they will be coming down the Pearson Boulevard Rotary down by GFA Credit Union and the Staples Gardner Plaza and milling, so going down and grinding that whole intersection that's there and coming back and paving for it. And again, all of those funds for the Route 2 repaving project and what will repave the Rotary are being paid for out of a grant received by the bipartisan infrastructure law that was passed by Congress and signed by President Biden just last year. There have been several ribbon cuttings that we've been able to celebrate this past week, so I just want to highlight those businesses and then actually take a look back and see all the people that have had their ribbon cuttings this year, just to remind people of who's opened up in the city. With these new faces that are popping up here and there, we want to make sure that these businesses are succeeding as best as they can. We currently, this past week, had Chris Guerra's broadcasting studio over at School Street. So they celebrated the ribbon cutting on Monday, and then White Onyx Medical Spa had their grand opening on ribbon cutting on Wednesday. They're located over at the Ian LASIK building and the Social Security building at the corner of Main Street down by Hannaford and Gardner Discount Furniture, next to the new Gardner News building next to CVS. We also want to congratulate Care Central Visiting Nurses Association on celebrating their 10th year in operation for their diaper pantry. Just this past week, they celebrated giving out just under 300,000 diapers in the last 10 years over at that diaper pantry. And talking with the staff who started this program 10 years ago, it was just a way to try to help families in need because they wanted to make sure that with the rising cost of diapers and just general costs associated with raising babies, they wanted to make sure that families got to have that little bit of stress relief from them there. And to see that now 10 years later, almost 300,000 diapers have been given out is really something. So thank you to everyone over at Care Central VNA on Pearly Lane in Gardner for continuing to work through that very important service that you provide for the community. I'd also like to give a special shout out to Empire Management, who this year is celebrating their 30th anniversary in operation. They're located right here in downtown Gardner and have been for several years. They actually just recently purchased their building, so you can see a lot of that work being done over there. Thank you very much to Jenna and Gabrielle and everyone over at Empire for the continued commitment you have for us here in the city of Gardner. Now, looking back on 2024, we started off the year with doing the ribbon cutting over at the Gardner Municipal Airport when that reopened after the new runway installation project was completed. Then there was MVP2 Barber Studios. Abishan Hardware had their ribbon cutting last week, where they've now joined in partnership with Ace Hardware. So the new Abishan Ace store is over at the Gardner Plaza near Subway and Wendy's. We talked about Chris Guerra and White Onyx. Party Tents and Events is taking over for Taylor Rental. Mike Rizika and Matt Francis are doing their share in taking over the tent rental portion of the building for different parties in of the business for different parties in the area. Aldi opened earlier this year. Blue Spire Property Management, Four Seasons Chinese Cuisine, Mass Ave Rentals with their 30 units of apartments over on Connor Street. And then, as we said earlier in this, the Keep Gardner Beautiful permanent location over at the Gardner Transfer Station. So we're at 11 ribbon cuttings so far this year, and we know there's more to come. So stay tuned for seeing just how much Gardner's business community is going to continue to grow and expand throughout the course of the year. We know Chipotle, Jersey Mike's, Five Below. There's a dentist office that's coming into the city, Perry Pools, Bria Coffee. There's so many other businesses that are set to come just this year alone, and it's going to be a really exciting year for Gardner. I'm really happy about that. We have the end of the year activities for our seniors at Gardner High School in full swing. So we just want to remind everyone that graduation this year is June 1st at 10 a.m. at Watkins Field at Gardner High School. Congratulations to all of our students on making it this far. Enjoy your prom this weekend, and best of luck in all of the upcoming senior activities for our seniors at Gardner High School. I also just want to say best of luck to all of our students at Mount Wachusett Community College and Fitchburg State University, who will be having their commencement celebrations in this coming week as well. Summer is just around the corner, and with that, we want to mention a few dates. The outdoor Greenwood swimming pool is tentatively scheduled to open, barring any weather concerns, on June 19th, so stay tuned for updates for that. The library summer reading kickoff is scheduled for June 26th at 4:30 p.m. The first concert at Monument Park is set for June 22nd. With the Holding Back Band performing 60s music. And the popular cruise nights at the PACC are set to begin on May 19th at 5 p.m., which also includes live music from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. We also want to remind people that the deadline for registering for the city's summer recreation program is coming up soon, so make sure you do get your initial registrations in as soon as possible if you have someone in your family who'd like to participate in the city's summer recreation camp program over at Gardner High School and Gardner Elementary School. Thursday, May 16th, the Gardner Museum will feature Annie Fields, a local historian, playwright, producer, actress Judith Calora will portray poet, philanthropist, and social reformer Annie Adams Field, who was alive from 1834 to 1915. Reservations are required for this event, and you can do that by calling the museum at 978-632-3277. The Gardner Area League of Artists Art and Music Festival is coming up on May 17th through 19th on the Saturday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. This event is held at the Red Apple Farm located in Phillipston with an artist reception on Friday. The art exhibit with more than 100 artists, demonstrations, vendors, children's activities, face painting, music, and more all weekend long, and admission for this event is free. So if you're looking for something to do that weekend, that's a great way to get out. We do want to let you know that that is going to be a very busy weekend here in Gardner, so just a reminder of a couple of the other events that we have. On May 18th, that will be the AED Foundation Recovery Comedy Night. The cost of those tickets are $20, and that's still on sale right now. That will take place in Perry Auditorium. Doors open at 6:15 for a 7 p.m. show start time. I also want to thank Bria Coffee, our soon-to-be new downtown business, who has agreed to sponsor that event as well, providing coffee for the event. So it's great to see a upcoming business already starting to get involved and be a very strong community partner. Also on May 18th, we have our First Responder Day over at Levi Haywood Memorial Library. So if you're interested in participating on that, you can see the library's website and social media page for more information. And then on Sunday, May 19th, at the Bethany Baptist Church in Gardner, the Greater Gardner Community Choir will present their concert, A Journey of Life. This has a $15 per person suggested donation or a $10 suggested donation for seniors and kids under the age of 12. So if you're interested in hearing some great music, I highly recommend you seeing that concert as well. So that's going to be a very busy weekend for us here in the Chair City. We want to remind people that we are still seeking sponsors for a couple of different things that the city is putting on. We do still have several flower pot sponsorships available. These will be going out the first week of June, just after Memorial Day, and be out through Thanksgiving. So if you're interested in that, or a banner sponsorship for the Victorian Light Post in downtown and South Gardner, cost of those sponsorships is $200 per person. $200 per either banner or flower pot. You can certainly do as many as you want, or both if you want. Those checks should be made out to the City of Gardner and sent to our City Economic Development Coordinator, Amber Labonte, in the city's Community Development and Planning Office. So the other thing that we're doing this year is we're working on fixing up Lafayette Square, as you can tell from the Mackey Park work that we've done. There's a big wall that's in front of the former flower bed right at the West Street parking lot. We're working with a local artist to seeing if we can get a mural on that this year. So we are looking for sponsorships for that mural as well. Any donation of any size is perfectly fine because we understand people have different abilities depending on their situations, but that doesn't mean that they may not want to give towards something like this that'll really sprucing up that area of the city. All donors will be recognized in a plaque that's put at the spot as well. So if you're interested in donating to that, you can contact the office here at any time. And then lastly, I'd like to close by just saying a special thank you and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers who are watching this here. And with this special weekend, as you gather around your families, just wishing a happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And to my mother, gracias para todo y te amo mucho. All right, that concludes this week's Mayor's Update. I'm looking forward to speaking with you all again next week. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into the budget next week because the City Council subcommittees are going to start to meet to discuss that budget. But again, we'll save that for next week. Thank you very much. Happy Mother's Day, and have a great day.